Can everyone online hear me today?
Yes, we can.
Oh, very good. Who have I got there?
Laura.
Hi, Laura. And I can see there's a couple of other people who have joined as well. I've already hit the start record button and it's 5 o'clock, so we're going to get underway. If you're having any technical difficulties, then please let us know through the chat. But we're recording this webinar to make it available for anybody to look at after the event, which includes you guys if you want to have a look again at it later. So we'll kick off. I'll share my screen so you can see some PowerPoint slides. So please give me a big shout if that doesn't seem to work. All right, does that look okay to everyone?
Yes.
Oh, good, thank you very much.
Thanks, Laura.
We did a test run earlier, but it's always good to know that it's working properly when you have a go at it for real. So hi everyone, thanks to all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us online today. As I've said, we're going to be recording today's webinar, so if you get interrupted in the middle, you'll be able to come back and have a look at it another time. And we've already had some interest in our webinar from people who can't join us online today, so we expect that they'll download our video of today's webinar and catch up with that later. So before we begin, we'd first like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which we meet today. We'd also like to pay our respect to their elders past, present and emerging, and to the elders of other Aboriginal communities who may be present in our meeting today. So in the room today, we've got all the key people that are involved in intern training from both Wangaratta and Benalla hospitals. And in 2021, we're really excited to offer 4 positions across our 2 health services. So if you're a high quality human being that has a pharmacy degree and you want to transform from a pharmacy student into a competent generalist hospital pharmacist by the end of 2021, we hope we can convince you to preference our health services to help you do just that. So my name's Susan Trevelyan. I'll be presenting the first half of the webinar today, and I'll introduce you to our key people to give you an idea of who we are so that you know who you'll be working with when you come and join us. And then I'll show you where we are in case you don't know exactly where Wangaratta and Benalla is in Victoria. After that, you'll hear from our current Wangaratta interns, who are Kirsten and Phoebe, and they'll speak a little bit about why they chose to train here, what attracted them to the region and to our training program, and what their experience has been like so far. So I'm sure you'll enjoy listening to them firsthand. After that, Morgan will tell you a little bit about why she chose Wangaratta for her internship and what it's been like to continue her career over the next few years at NHW. And we're also delighted to have Angela here in person today. Angela's driven up from Benalla to join us in presenting this webinar today, and she'll tell you a little bit about what it's like to work at Benalla Health. Then we'll hand over to David, who's our Director of Pharmacy, who'll run you through the training program, which includes the initial orientation, a really comprehensive tutorial program, clinical rotations with ward-based pharmacists through all the different clinical areas that pharmacy provides service to, and also talk a little bit about how you take responsibility looking after your own clinical area under supervision, of course. He'll also describe how the 2 health services programs are intertwined, and you might have already seen that if you've downloaded our weekly roster and a couple of the other PDFs that are available on the web. And he'll answer some frequently asked questions before we'll hand over to you, our audience, for what other burning questions you would like us to answer today. So if you can hold your questions to the end, that'll be great, because with sharing the screen, I can't actually see your questions at the moment. So please hold on to them till the end, and let's meet the team that you're going to be working with in 2021. So first is our North East Health Wangaratta's Director of Pharmacy, David Ford. He arrived in the North East in 2016 and is responsible for initiating our intern training program in 2017 after successfully creating NHW's 2 hospital-funded intern positions, which we still have on offer for next year. He's also been the driving force behind securing a government-funded position, which will begin next year. So we have 3 intern positions based at NHW during 2021. His teaching experience is not limited to pharmacy. He also loves introducing willing participants to sports such as cricket. And I have to add that you do not have to be interested in cricket to apply for an internship, at Wangaratta. Thank you. He says it helps. Well, it might help a little bit, but it won't make that much of a difference, really. But David just loves this photo and he said I had to put it in. So there you go. So anyway, you can check out David's LinkedIn profile to see a little bit more about his extensive pharmacy experience. Next is me, Susan. So hi, I work 3 days a week here at Wangaratta and recently started a day a week at Benalla Health. I'm the current APRA approved preceptor for our NHW interns, and this year we're really excited to have extended our intern and preceptor network across the region. So we actually video conference each month with interns and preceptors based at Goulburn Valley Health, Echuca Regional Health and Albury-Wodonga Health. So during 2020 we have 7 interns and their preceptors all catching up on a monthly basis. And next year that will increase to 9 interns and 5 health services. So that's going to be really exciting. We're also really happy that the local intern cohort in the northeast is going to grow from 2 interns this year to 4 interns next year across the 2 health services that we represent today. And I think it's been really fun and rewarding to lead the design of that collaborative program for next year. So I'm really excited to see who we get and how they'll grow while taking on that program. So my friend pictured here is an Omnicell automated medication cabinet. For those of you who haven't seen one of those before, you'll find them right throughout Wangaratta Hospital. All our impressed medicines in our overnight ward areas are stored in those and right through our operating theatres as well. And the medicines inside are accessed by a fingerprint scanner. So you'll become very familiar with using those and be an expert in no time. Our next exciting addition is Morgan. So Morgan's one of our fantastic early career pharmacists. She graduated from La Trobe University, Bendigo, and has been a really essential part of our intern training team since then. She completed her internship with us in 2018 at NHW and did her ITP and IFP through Monash. And after her internship was one of our early career pharmacist mentors for the next crop of interns. This year, she's taken on a bit more of a leadership role in making sure that our day-to-day running of the intern program is going smoothly, and we couldn't do it without her. So much so, in fact, that we're making her elevate to the level of intern preceptor for next year. So you get all of the credit where it's due. So if you're an intern based at Wangaratta next year, Morgan will be your APRA approved preceptor. And we also have with us today Angela. So Angela's on the right in this picture. She's the pharmacist in charge at Benalla Health. And she's sent through a photo today of Olivia, who she's working with today, one of the pharmacy technicians at Benalla. So each of the 3 Wangaratta-based interns will spend a week at Benalla Health to see what a smaller pharmacy department is like. And during those times, the Benalla Health intern will spend some time at Wangaratta. So there's a bit of a crossover with each of the 3 Wangaratta interns spending 1 week at Benalla, and the Benalla intern will spend a total of 10 weeks at Northeast Health. So the Benalla intern will have about a 20-80 split between Wangaratta and Benalla. And that'll include jumping into the rotation program with backfilling the Wangaratta pharmacy intern. So I think that will be a really good introduction to both health services for the lucky person who chooses Benalla Health as their primary place for their internship. These are our 2 current NHW interns, and they're both here today and you'll hear from them very shortly. So Phoebe and Kirsten are both Monash University graduates. They're both completing the ITP and IFP through Monash this year. And if you haven't heard of the IFP and you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's a Monash University program that runs alongside the intern training program, and successfully completing it results in a graduate certificate at the end of your internship. So you get your internship, you get to register, and you also have a postgraduate qualification at the same time. So rather than ask questions about it here today, the best place for you to go and find out more would be to search online for Monash IFP and have a look through the Monash University webpage to find out more about that. So you might be wondering what's our previous intern training experience, especially if you haven't heard of Wangaratta or Benalla before. So here's a little slideshow of what our current and previous successes have been. So we've got first Vaidehi and Claire, who interned with us in 2017 and both went on to work as clinical pharmacists at NHW. They're pictured here with Jeff, who was their preceptor for 2017 and was also preceptor through to 2019 for our interns. Vaidehi's continued on at NHW. She completed her 2 years of clinical rotations and then was promoted into the role of antimicrobial stewardship and medication safety pharmacist, which is a permanent role. So she works alongside all of our clinical pharmacists to enhance antimicrobial stewardship, compliance and medication safety. Claire's working in a regional hospital interstate, back closer to her family. And then we move on to the 2018 cohort. So Morgan and Selwyn both completed their Monash ITP and IFP in 2018. They both continued on at NHW as clinical pharmacists after that. And while Morgan is still working here as a clinical pharmacist, and you've heard a little about her, Selwyn has moved back to Melbourne where he's working in a hospital in a clinical pharmacy role. Then we have Amanda and Indiana who are with us I was going to say today, but they're not in the room today, but they are with us today. They both finished their internship last year and are both working as clinical pharmacists at NHW. And these two girls are our two early career pharmacist mentors for our current interns. So their recent experience of having been through an intern program is really valuable to the next lot of interns. And when you come to Benalla or Wangaratta for your internship, you'll be assigned an early career pharmacist as a mentor. So you'll have somebody that you can call on pretty regularly outside of your structured program that can help you navigate the program, having just been through it in the last couple of years themselves. Got a few other pharmacists on our team who are just as valuable, even though they didn't do all of their training here. So we've got Susan, who is our education and research unit pharmacist. So she's very involved in supervising students as they come through. We've got Narelle, who's a senior pharmacist from the local area who works part-time and covers ADOs and annual leave and works in a clinical role in every different part of the hospital every different day that she's here. We've got Clement, who has worked here for over 10 years, and all three of those pharmacists have more than 15 years of experience. They're all credentialed clinical pharmacy educators and they're all really committed to helping early career pharmacists on their journey into hospital pharmacy. They've all three also just been credentialed as pharmacists that can transcribe onto emergency department medication charts in partnership with Doctors in Emergency as part of the Partnered Pharmacist Charting Project. So they've got quite a decent skill set amongst them. And we also have Ryan, who I've grabbed a little photo of today. Ryan's an early career pharmacist who joined us just over a year ago after doing his internship at Wangaratta Health Service. And he's completing his postgraduate studies in clinical pharmacy as well. And these are the most important people that you work with at NHW. This is our support staff team. So we've got from the left all our pharmacy technicians, Kiankai, Emma, Peter, Melissa, Joe and Bruno. And then down the bottom we have Shelley and our admin assistant and resident artist, Melissa. So these are definitely the glue that hold the place together, and you'll be they shouldn't be underestimated as far as what they can offer to an intern and how they can help you on your learning journey. Excuse me. So at Wangaratta, our pharmacy services are delivered to ward areas by small teams of a pharmacist and a technician, plus an intern when that intern is on rotation. And you can see from Peter and Selwyn, you have to be able to build a pretty good working relationship pretty quickly to be able to get the job done. And the same goes for Benalla Health. So when you're working at Benalla Health, you'll be working closely with the pharmacist and with the technician to provide the services that need to be provided to patients in clinical areas in Benalla Health. So you might be wondering, yeah, well, they're all great people, so where are they? So Northeast Victoria is where we all call home. Wangaratta is located in the northeast about 238 k's from Melbourne, or about 3 hours northeast of Melbourne by train. The rural city of Wangaratta, which is the local government area, has about 30,000 people living within it, but our hospital services a community of about 90,000 that extends into all the surrounding shires as well. So that's part of the Central Hume region. We also provide a lot of health services to people who visit our region. As Northeast Victoria's widely renowned destination for hiking and biking and outdoor activities, to name, well, plenty. And the snow season and mountain biking season certainly keeps our orthopaedics unit busy. Our emergency department treats more than 25,000 patients each year, and a pharmacist currently works in our emergency department 5 days a week. This is going to sound like a bit of a list, but the other areas that the Northeast Health Wangaratta Pharmacy provides services into and where our interns all have an opportunity to work during their year. The surgical ward, the critical care unit, maternity unit, there's 4 operating theatres and a perioperative care clinic, day stay and dialysis units on the top floor, and on the ground floor we service a medical ward, an acute respiratory ward, a paediatric unit, the inpatient rehabilitation and subacute unit, oncology, palliative care, the emergency department and hospital in the home. So as an intern, you'll work in all of these areas, and you'll also have the opportunity to deliver medicines education to outpatient groups such as cardiac rehabilitation, Parkinson's group and the respiratory rehabilitation clients. So there's plenty of different things on offer at our hospital. Down the road is Benalla, so it's in the adjoining local government area. It's a little closer to Melbourne, about 2.5 hours northeast of Melbourne by train or a little less by car. The rural city is home to about 10,000 people, and the hospital there services predominantly the local community as well as patients from further afield. So, for example, it's the regional centre for patients undergoing ophthalmological surgery or cataract surgery for the region. It includes a 6-bed urgent care centre where 600 to 700 patients a month are assessed by registered nurses and then treated or admitted or transferred in consultation with the local on-call general practitioner. And there are 3 GP clinics in Benalla who all provide services into the hospital on rotation. The acute ward has 24 beds usually, with the ability to expand up to more than that if needed, and it's staffed by a multidisciplinary team, including the pharmacist. And this will be the main clinical area that the pharmacy intern will find themselves working in, as that's where most of the medication management services are provided into at the moment. And you'll be working to ensure the quality use of medicines for a broad range of patients, such as general medicine and chronic disease, acute care and subacute care, geriatrics and palliative care, as well as patients who've undergone surgery or a procedure that requires a hospital admission. Benalla Health also has a large day surgery unit and a maternity service. And there are strong links between Benalla Health's pharmacy department and the multiple local community pharmacies in the Benalla area, which enables patients to obtain the medicines they need on discharge from hospital by obtaining those from the local community pharmacy. Benalla Health prides itself on its education and training programs for nurses and allied health, and it won the Premier's Award for Victoria's Medium Health Service of the Year in 2017. So it's not a small deal. Partnering with Wangaratta to take on the pharmacy intern training in 2021 is a natural extension of its already long-term commitment to training rural health professionals. So probably that's enough for me from now. I hope that's given you a bit of an introduction to who we are and where we are. I'd like now to hand over the chair and the microphone to Kirsten to chat for a couple of minutes about her choice of internship in North East Victoria. So thanks very much for your attention, and over to you, Kirsten.
So hi everyone, I'm Kirsten and I'm one of the 2020 interns here at North East Health Wangaratta. I guess I'll start off by talking about why I chose to do my internship here. So I was fortunate enough to actually grow up here in North East Victoria in Wangaratta. And after living in Melbourne for 6 years, I decided that I wanted to move back rural and have a career here as a pharmacist. And it's been the best decision. Working back here at the hospital has been fantastic. Moving home closer to my friends and my family has been really good. In terms of why I would recommend choosing North East Health Wangaratta or Benalla Health for that matter to complete your internship at would be, I'll just go through a few things, then Phoebe can touch on some more. But for me, the education program here has been absolutely fantastic. I can't praise it highly enough. Our tutorial program is really robust. We have weekly tutorials with lots of the different pharmacists around the hospital and lots of different topics. And I just feel as though that has prepared us so well for our upcoming exams. And also the education that you get on the ward rotations, which Susan touched on before, and I think David's going to go through a bit of a program later. You get to rotate to a lot of different areas of the hospital where you get a chance to really grow your clinical knowledge. Other than that, the hospital here has a really fantastic support system within the pharmacy department. So from the techs to the pharmacists, everybody is just so welcoming, so eager to teach and to help you learn. We've got really great preceptors in Susan and Morgan as a bit of our preceptor this year, and the mentors, so Amanda and Indiana, have also been really, really helpful as well, and key in helping us prepare for our exams that are coming up. I just find it really helpful having somebody who's just been through the process that we're going through to be able to talk to them about whether it's study tips, whether it's how to de-stress, whether it's just like having a friend to talk to outside of work. It's been really, really helpful. I would say to anybody who's thinking about applying rural for the internship, like definitely do it. It's been the best decision. I know sometimes people think that like maybe rural you won't get as much exposure or experience as metro, but that's not the case at all. If anything, I feel like doing my internship here has given me more exposure and like experience than some of my friends who are doing it at metro, because I feel as though we are trusted a lot here, which means a lot and really helps us learn. I might hand over to Phoebe and she can talk a little bit about her experience and what other things she likes about her internship here.
So thanks, Kirsten. So my name's Phoebe. I'm the other intern here for 2020. And unlike Kirsten, I didn't grow up in Northeast Victoria. So I spent most of my life in Melbourne. And I chose to do my internship here mainly because I did a placement here. One of my rural placements was here early last year, and I enjoyed it so much that I wanted to come back. I just found the team very supportive. I got along with them really well, and even as a student I could tell that it was a really great place to come back and learn. So making that decision to move was quite difficult, but I knew that I'd be moving somewhere where I knew the people that I'd be working with, which maybe you can't relate to too much, but they are very nice, very welcoming people. So I knew I would have no trouble just slipping back into the pharmacy department here. And in terms of moving away, I find it's been a big change, but it's been very rewarding. I've been able to grow my independence, and it's quite a nice area. You know, it's not just Wangaratta itself. There's lots of areas around that are really lovely to go and explore, which I've had fun doing, even though COVID has put a bit of a stop on that. And it's really not that far away from Melbourne as you may think. It's a really nice, relaxing train ride, 2.5 to 3 hours, and you can maybe do some work along the way or watch some movies. It's really nice, or you can drive, up to you. And I believe it was a really good decision for me. As Kirsten was saying, we are very trusted here, and you know, we've gotten a lot of responsibility, which I think has been really helpful just to help us grow into really competent pharmacists, hopefully in the future. And yeah, so we get our own ward load, which is fantastic. Obviously we are supervised and we have so much help. So even though you are by yourself on the ward, sometimes there's always somebody that you can call up and ask for help, and everyone's so happy to help you out. There's a real emphasis on education and learning here. And some advice I would give to interns who are thinking about moving rurally, whether that's Wangaratta or somewhere else, I would say just go for it. Even though it may seem really nerve-wracking and such a large decision, it's very rewarding, and I couldn't imagine my internship anywhere else. I think that's all. I'll hand over to Morgan.
Hello guys, this is a bit daunting, but yeah, I'm Morgan. As it was spoken about earlier, I did my internship in 2018. I decided to go with Wangaratta because I'm a country girl at heart. So I am from Shepparton. I studied in Bendigo, so I thought, oh, why not try Wangaratta? It's a beautiful area, awesome scenery. I love wine. There's lots of wine around. Yeah, the snow is close by. It's just a beautiful area. So I took the plunge, and I wanted to be close to family who are in Shepparton. So following intern year, I'll focus more on post-intern year. I have had a lot of opportunities. So after intern year, I got a permanent full-time position, and in the 2 years that I've been here, almost 2 years, I've completed most of the ward rotations, and I've had the opportunity to complete oncology rotation, critical care unit rotation, and also emergency department, which are wards that other hospitals, you may not see it so early in their career. Also, I have had a lot of leadership opportunities a lot earlier in my career than if I had gone Metro. So the preceptor opportunity and also being a mentor has been really awesome, and I've gained a lot of confidence so early on. I look forward to answering any of your questions, but I'll hand over to Angela. So that was so awesome. Good job.
Hi guys, I'm Angela from Benalla. Benalla's a small health service with a new intern program with the support of my Wangaratta colleagues. At Benalla, you're going to become known to all the other hospital staff because we're so small. All the different staff from all different departments will get to know you, and you will get to know them too. You're going to be working closely with the 4 community pharmacies in town to ensure continuity of care on discharge. I originally came from Melbourne. I decided to make the change to rural and regional practice many years ago, but I never went back. Out in the regions, you can really make a difference. But if you want to still keep contact with family and friends, we have great roads and we have a great rail system. I can still go to visit family and friends both in Sydney and Melbourne, and sometimes I go to both in the one weekend.
Exactly. Thanks, Angela. Just click the mouse to keep on the slides.
Hi guys, so my name is David Ford. I'm the Director of Pharmacy here. I'm just going to run through the program that we'll be offering. So hopefully you will see on your screen. So this is the first part of your intern training. So this is the very first couple of weeks. So here you'll see a program that's got the 3 interns for North East Health plus the Benalla Health intern. For the first week, you'll all be here doing your internship orientation, which is more around spending some time with the technicians, learning iPharmacy, which is our dispensing system, doing some small rotations with our technical staff, learning how to use Omnicells, those sort of things. The Benalla intern will then go back to Benalla for that next week to learn about the processes at Benalla, and the North East Health interns will stay here. So you can see that first 2 weeks, that will happen prior to Christmas. So we get the interns to start early, work for 2 weeks, and then we give you 2 weeks off to go back and spend Christmas and New Year with your family. So as when it's time to come back, you can hit the ground running. So this is our education program. You will see it's quite a comprehensive program. We have a lot of topics that we cover. All of our pharmacists get involved in this particular program. We rotate interns to pathology, to the operating theatre, to dialysis, to radiology, to have a bit of a look around. You'll see there are also case presentations. Each of the interns will be expected to present a case study at our staff meeting about every fortnight or so. It's a great way to learn. It's a good way to come over your fears about presenting publicly, but in a friendly audience. You can see here, if you look through the program, there's a whole bunch of stuff here that covers a whole bunch of different topics. You'll also see there the OTC sessions. So because you're in a hospital, obviously over-the-counter products are not our core business. So what we do is we get the interns to actually present small tutorials to each other on a regular basis, which covers a whole bunch of OTC products. And we also have a couple of pharmacists here who are quite experienced in community practice, and they actually run those tutorials. So as we flick through the education program, you can see here it's quite comprehensive. What we do at the end of each year is we talk to our current interns and ask them their feedback about the program and what should change, what should go, what should be added, what worked, what didn't. So this is the draft program as it sits right now. The final program may in fact change based on what Phoebe and Kirsten think about our program and whether we need to make any significant changes. The other thing too is that the Benalla intern, of course, will be involved in these presentations. That can be either face-to-face or via Teams like we're doing now. The other thing that we have is regular teleconference sessions with interns from the region. So these are interns from Wangaratta Health, Echuca Health and Goulburn Valley Health, as well as the Benalla intern and our interns. And it just allows some sharing of experiences. It allows people to talk about case studies in different hospitals. It allows the interns in the region to perhaps get a bit of a better understanding with each other and form maybe study groups or something similar, which we've found this year has been really good. This is an initiative that Susan has started, and from our feedback has been quite successful so far. You'll also see in here that there's plenty of times for practice exams and practice oral exams. You'll be sick and tired of them by the time the final exam comes, but we make no apology for that. We try and make sure that you are ready to go and hit the ground running when it comes to your exam preparation. But we also hope that you just working here and doing your normal ward rotation is actually going to educate you just as much as participating in the education program that you see before you. So you can see it's pretty much mapped out each week. The majority of the pharmacists make a contribution to those. This is the actual rotations themselves. So you can see here, this is North East Health interns 1, 2 and 3 and the Benalla Health intern. So the Benalla Health intern will spend about 80% of the year at Benalla and 20% here. You'll see in the bright yellow boxes that the North East Health interns rotate not just to Benalla, but also to community pharmacies in Yarrawonga and Beechworth, because both of those rural centres, the community pharmacy actually services the local hospital. So that's a new initiative as part of our really combined partnered programs that are going through the region and through Benalla Health. And if you look through there, you'll see that all the interns get an opportunity to rotate through their various areas. So that's medical and surgical, where there will always be an intern present. And then rotation through dispensary, hospital in the home, oncology, rehabilitation, GEM, paediatrics, CCU, mental health services, emergency department, a whole range of things that the intern will do. Likely as well, when the Benalla Health intern comes, they get an opportunity to rotate through medical, our intensive care unit and our surgical unit as well. You'll notice there also, we have an expectation of our interns that they have a ward load, and that's around about taking some responsibility for the patients that are there and learning how to prioritise skills and talk to doctors and nurses and carers and patients. So the expectation is not only do you have a rotation with pharmacists, you also have a ward round and a ward load of your own. So we've chosen maternity, which includes our delivery suite, our special care nursery and our maternity beds. The day stay unit, which is our day surgery unit, which pretty much runs as an overflow medical ward this time of year, and our dialysis unit. So our expectation is that you actually run those under supervision, but it's your responsibility to make sure that you handle those patients. And then in combination, you actually do the various rotations with the pharmacists that you see in front of you. We have a couple of frequently asked questions, which I'll address now. The first question is, do we accept international students? So 2 of our 3 positions are actually funded by the hospital. So if we do get no suitable local candidates, then we do accept expressions of interest from international students. That's usually around round 2 or round 3. That can actually be done by applying through the SHPA process. So there's no point applying directly to us. You need to undergo the SHPA process, which I'm sure was explained to you last Thursday. The other frequently asked question we get is around accommodation. We do have rental accommodation available both in Benalla and Wangaratta and surrounds. The hospital itself doesn't provide accommodation per se, but we do have about 52 properties that we manage here for staff that fly in and fly out. What I can say is rental opportunities are usually much cheaper here. They are in metropolitan areas. And certainly once people are successful, we can help you try and find suitable accommodation. But the other thing I would suggest is you really consider sharing a house, or even sharing a house with some of our early career pharmacists who are here, who are often looking for people to share with. So consider that. As Phoebe and Kirsten have said, it's a great opportunity to get away, leave mum and dad, fly away from the nest, and come up and challenge yourself in the country. It's such a wonderful spot up here. Anybody who likes nice wine and nice food will like being up here. You've got the snowfields right next door, the most beautiful scenery in autumn, and so many beautiful towns around the place. And at the end of the day, it's 2.5 hours away from Melbourne by car or by rail. So can I visit the hospital to have a look around? So my answer is, well, yes. If you do come here, we will need to check your temperature and do the various things associated with COVID restrictions. If you want to come in and arrange that, then we can do that. You need to contact myself on email. If you want to have a tour around Benalla, I'm sure Angela will be happy to accommodate you if you contact her in the first instance. So I guess the thing now is, now that you all actually want to come and work here, and we have 4 positions this year, which is better than the 2 we had last year. I need you to go to the SHPA website and to the Victorian Intern webpage, follow the details around the selection criteria. What we ask for is a CV and a cover letter, a copy of your academic transcripts, and any referees that we can go to and ask about your work elsewhere. There's the various information web pages that you can go to, which has the information that I've just given you, as well as some other bits of information as well. So please don't hesitate to go there and look at some of the information that might be around. We're open for further questions now. Here's the information about how to contact all of us, either by phone or by email. We'd be happy to take email requests or questions whenever you want to put them forward. I guess from us, that's the end of the presentation per se. So now we'd like to open it up to anybody who would like to ask us any questions. And so please go ahead. We're all sitting here in the room and would be happy to take any questions that you would have. I take it everyone's fallen asleep. Is that true? The silence is deafening.
Just have a look on the chat. Just looking to see if anyone has typed some questions.
No, I think yet.
Cool. Cool.
How long do we wait for?
Well, that's a very good question. How long would you like us to sit here for? Come on, somebody must have a question, surely. Although our presentation was pretty damn good, okay. I have to say. So there you go.
So what we'll do is we'll stop the recording so that then if you feel like you're more likely to want to ask a question, you can go ahead.